Well, surprise, surprise. Nancy Pelosi came out today blaming Trump for the humanitarian crisis at the border, as thousands of migrants have been seen crossing the Texas River, and as child detention centers are overflowing by over 700%. And Nancy Pelosi has the gall to say, "Orange man bad," and blame Trump for the problems that the Democrats created. Well, everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're going to be talking about Nancy Pelosi and the fact that things are a disaster at the American border as millions of undocumented migrants are flooding into the country illegally. America is currently suffering the worst unemployment, inflation, money printing, people are out of work, cities are in economic turmoil, and what does the Biden administration say? And Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, they say, just let them in. Don't worry, you can come to America. And they don't say that directly, but they heavily imply it. Now we're going to talk about this, folks, as I have quite a few things to show you about the massive failures of Biden's administration. But before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe, share the video, and now for a quick word from our sponsor. Virtue Signal the Card Game is a card game parody of social justice activism. It's a hilarious game with hilarious cards. In fact, yours truly is in the game, in one of the expansion packs, with other such classic cards such as Wax My Balls, Bigot, Clean Your Lobster, Bucko, and many more. Right now you can get the game for $24.98, but if you want the full game, it is currently on sale for $54.98. 410 cards, all of the expansion packs. Get yours today by clicking on the link down below. And we're back. So here it says, Pelosi blames Trump for the humanitarian crisis at the border and says Biden is trying to correct the broken system by letting everyone in, as detention facilities overfill by 700%, and ICE sets up outdoor processing centers to deal with record numbers pouring in. Now, why is this? It's because Joe Biden has been an absolute weakling loser in dealing with the crisis at the border. Migrants were afraid to come to America when Trump was in office. Now that he's not, they're coming over and flooding the country. So what Nancy Pelosi said, it enrages me. It enrages me to, oh my God. Look at this here. This is a humanitarian challenge to all of us. The House Speaker told ABC's This Week host George Stephanopoulos on Sunday morning. She added, what the administration has inherited is a broken system at the border. And they are working to correct that in the children's interest. Blaming Trump, passing the baton. Why can't the Democrats just admit they screwed up you? Oh, you people. Because they're the ones who created the crisis. Pelosi revealed that there are 600 to 700 more unaccompanied children arriving at the US-Mexico border than there was during the 2019 peak of minor detention during Trump's presidency. So let me get this straight. The Democrats and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden whined for years under the Trump administration that Trump was doing a terrible job handling illegal immigration at the border. Oh, he's being mean to kids. Oh, look at that. They can't handle it. They don't know what they're doing. While blocking every attempt at Trump to get more funding for those programs. Meanwhile, Biden becomes president and his policies result in a 700% overfilled facilities. Are you kidding me? It even goes on to say here that Biden's administration is struggling to deal with the growing crisis at the border as agencies like Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and Customs Border Protection, CBP, have become overwhelmed with the amount of migrants flowing into the U.S. by the way of Mexico. Biden finally sent in the Federal Emergency Management Act, FEMA, Saturday, as agencies resorted to calling for volunteers to help. Immediately after being sworn in on January 20th, Biden took steps to undo Trump's hardline immigration policies, including putting a stop to construction of the southern border wall. How could this have happened? Look, Biden and Pelosi created this problem. They are the reason that migrants are flooding into the country at record numbers at a time where people are out of work and can't feed their families, can't pay their rent. The Democrats say that they're the party of the working class. and yet they let foreigners come to the country and take the country for themselves. Take your jobs, take your opportunities, take your money. They don't pay taxes. They get government handouts. They vote when they're not supposed to vote because Democrats don't care about the working class. They don't care about you. And the Democrats are throwing the baby, the American people, into the bathwater. During his campaign, Biden made it clear that the U.S. would accept all those seeking asylum, leading to a wave of migrations from Central America and now a swamped immigration system. This administration, however, still refuses to call the situation at the border a crisis. God! Here on Breitbart, do you know what Pelosi blamed the border crisis on? Climate change causing humanitarian challenge at the border. Yes, climate change. Not Joe Biden, not Pelosi, and not the Democrats. Oh, give me a break. You are so full of it. Climate change is not causing the current problems with immigration. The Democrats are, because they're incompetent. I do not understand how you can be a Democrat. Look at the job that Biden is doing, which has been terrible. He's doing a terrible job. And go on to say that, well, Democrats, they run the country in a good way. Do you really believe that? And if you do, are you actually paying attention? That's my question. The answer is no. Here on Fox News, migrants smuggled across Texas as river border crossing surge, video shows. So lately it's come out in the news that most of the people being smuggled into America are being smuggled by the cartel. They are getting people to pay them to smuggle them in the country. They wear these little bracelets, and there's bracelets for like, you have not paid, you have paid. You can only go over if you've paid the cartels, paid the gangs the money to get into America. And let's not forget, a lot of those children are coming with adults that are not their real parents. And you can imagine why. Why would they take children? Well, one, it's to get sympathy so they can get in the country easier, thanks to people like Biden and those bleeding heart liberals. Oh, they have a child. We gotta let them in. We gotta let them in. We gotta be nice. They're just kids. Doesn't matter if those kids were kidnapped. A video posted to social media shows hundreds waiting to cross the Rio Grande into Texas, even though the Biden administration, refuses to admit there's a crisis, yada yada, we know this. The video appeared on TikTok's encounters of tripwires and triggers. So what you see here are migrants who have just paid the peso or the tax to the cartels to smuggle. Look here at the footage.
Numbers, 100,441 encounters in February compared to 2019 when it was a crisis. It was only over 66,000. Now, the video you mentioned, Steve, take a look at this. In the Rio Grande Valley, where I was yesterday at the river crossing, just hundreds on the bank coming hour after hour. I have been multiple times to that very point, and I can tell you it's certainly in full force right now.
Because of the Democrats, this is happening. And I feel like it's all by design. It's all on purpose. They want the country to be flooded with people who do not belong here. That's as simple as it gets. Here on CBS News, they never saw the sun. Lawyers describe the overcrowded conditions for children in Border Patrol custody. Isn't that the greatest irony? For 4 years, the Democrats said that Trump is bad because the children in the detention centers are not in good condition. Well, guess what? Now they're in worse condition. Now the little kids are stuck in tents and on the floor and overflowing in these facilities. The lawyer said they've never seen the sun. Neha Desai, a lawyer representing migrant youth in U.S. government custody, said she interviewed children who said they were hungry, as well as minors who only showered once in 7 days. Some of the boys said that the conditions were so overcrowded, they had to take turns sleeping on the floor. Desai added, citing interviews with nearly a dozen of unaccompanied migrant children held at the Customs and Border Protection CBP holding facility in Donna, Texas. So much for COVID, I guess, holding all these people packed like sardines in these close conditions. I guess COVID's not a problem anymore, according to the Democrats. This is the Democrats' fault. This is what always happens when Democrats take control. So there you have it, folks. That's pretty much the story. That is your obvious update. I think it goes without saying that Biden has no idea what he's doing whatsoever. The fact that he had to activate FEMA to deal with the border, declare a disaster, basically, says everything you need to know. And I hope that the Biden supporters and voters are watching very hard. I'm really sick of this, folks. But you can probably tell, and Nancy Pelosi needs to just shut up. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. Remember to smash that like button, folks, subscribe, share the video, and if you want to support the channel, join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Links are down below. As always, thanks for watching, folks. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next time.